Today our topic is basically about template and some of the checking function in Microsoft Publisher before printing. Now for template here, we basically make use of some data list and make use of Publisher as a mold to print out some of the similar documents. And some documents, they share a lot of common features. If we are able to assemble all the changes in one place, and we call this a data source, and then we import that data source to Publisher, and Publisher will put them all in a good layout, and then they will have a very individualized publication later produced. This is what we call from data source into multiple items per page into different publications, and that's the concept of what we meant by merging, catalog merging. So before we have merging, of course we should therefore create some catalogs. How do we create catalogs in Publisher? Well, to create catalogs, this is actually not the business of Publisher. It's all actually on how we manage data. We can use the concept of database we learned earlier in Access to create a catalog, or we can use a spreadsheet, or we can use an address list in Microsoft, or even a Word table. Right? They are all applicable. No matter how you create it, it's actually very simple. You just create a table in all those contexts which you're familiar with, and that's gonna be okay. Okay. Now, today we're going to see how catalogs create in Microsoft Publisher. Is assume that you have a data source. After we have data source, we'll create a one-page publication in Microsoft Publisher. And that one-page publication will be like a mold. And it would assemble the data source in it. And by means of it, it will merge them all together. And then it will produce different documents out later, depending on what you want the document be looked like in the final merged products, and the whole process will then be complete. Of course, before we are to produce an ultimate different multiple resources from the catalog or from the data source that we provide Microsoft Publisher, we from time to time need to manipulate the merge area a little bit. And therefore, we will spend some time on how to manipulate all these merge area as well. Okay, and that's basically what we do. And in Microsoft Publisher, it allows you to type your own catalog by typing new list, but today we will not be using it. Okay, rather we'll use an existing data source that we create from Microsoft Access. Okay, and of course you see here we can use Microsoft Access, Excel, and Word as the source. Doesn't matter. So use the source that you think you are okay to work with, and then it's gonna be okay. Now let's go to the exercise and take a look. This is exercise 1 in this part. Before we go on with that, I also like to show you about the database that I created. The database we created is actually this one. Is called T9AB Publisher. What this database special is, apart from the database there, it would have some picture source. This picture actually is quoted by the database. If you open this database, let me see. Okay, yeah, the database is openable now. After enable the security warning, you're gonna find out this database actually is a table. You see, it's a table with employee ID, with some name, with some gender, married, and some date of birth, address, salary, plus a multimedia. What's a multimedia? Now this is a very special field. We go to the field section. It's a short text here. So this short text is actually quoting a file name. It's quoting a file name outside. All right, it's going to file name. This file name is actually the file name you see here, A, B, C, D, E, F. All right. If you list them all up, all right. If you list them all up, actually it's like that. All right. They're all the BMP file here. Right. If you show them, it would be like that. Okay. So this is the data source. Let me close this data source, and then we can start working right away. Remember, whenever we are working with data source, we normally close it first. So I close it first. Okay. And then I'll go and start a publisher. To start a publisher, I'll start from a blank page. So I go to a blank page. And after I go to a blank page here in Publisher, I'll go for Insert and Catalog. Now this is the only time you see in Microsoft Excel that you create without using a template, because you're merging data into the Publisher. So you don't bother adding any template yet. So I go here, Insert, and then I say Catalog page. So Catalog, remember, is a pile of paper. It's a pile of paper that have multiple that's going to be produced as a multiple applications, but from the same data, right? So we go here. That's why you see catalog is a pile of paper, and they also have a merge area here, as you see. How about the first page? The first page, you can basically right click and delete it. It's actually not needed at all. Okay, because this one is called a template. Okay, we are now creating a template, and this template is actually linking with the data source, and therefore we need not decorate it with a cover. So see, this is a pile of paper. This area here is resizable to one page, to a small page, or if you want to, okay, you can move it if you like. Or you can go to catalog format here and see what format you like. Before you do that, of course, Microsoft Excel needs you to provide it with a definite data source first, and therefore before we can work on the catalog page that you just inserted here, you need to go to format here and add a list. How do we get a list? As told you earlier, we can type a list, but that would be very time consuming, and the format is also be quite foreign to you. So instead of typing a list yourself, we would go for use an existing one. Okay, and we make use of our knowledge on Access and Word in Excel to create our data source first. Then it will come up here, and the things on merging will come natural. Okay, so I would advise you from time to time, if you go for catalog making, always make your own data first before, right, initiating this catalog page. So let's go to the second option and add list here. Use an existing list. Once you activate it, we go to the desktop and go to the folder with the database here. Select the database, and that's the ACCDB I just open and show you, and then you see the database. So I show in this catalog merge. We call it catalog merge product list. There you see not only the name and the information of the person, it also includes a photo. So once you got all those things located and the source code ticked, you can tick them all. You can tick the part that you want. It all depends on how many you want. Right now, as a demonstration for you, I'll have all of them selected as default by the system. Once I've done that, okay, I selected the list. You see all those layouts available for you Now, then you see you have some layout with pictures, right? This is individual, right? You can have two record, all right, two data, all right, like that, all right, or three datas, all right, like that, or this one, or that one, or four datas, right? I have 8 datas altogether. You can have one data at a page, or you can design on your own, right? See which one is working well with you. Normally this would be okay, right? Or that, okay, maybe I use this one, 2 pages at a time. So I have 8 person. I should have 4 pages altogether in the end. So let me make use of this one, right? And then I can click the picture here, and then I can select the field. The field that I want for the picture, of course, will be the photo. So I click photo here, and you see, once I click photo here, there's a preview down here, and then you can resize the photo in a way that you can see the future looks, right, of the merge result. Now this is a preview, actually, a very general preview. Okay, you can adjust it a little bit so it looks okay. And you see there's a text box here. The text box may not be a bit too upward, so maybe you can move the text box down a little bit, which let the picture be much easier accommodate right on top here. It takes a little bit of time before you can really show the picture well. Okay, if you move the picture out of the merge area, you see this would disappear, so we have to be very careful when moving it. Now by slowly enlarging this one, it seems the pictures is getting okay, right? The picture seems getting okay. Maybe we can also make it a little bit smaller, or resize in such a way that it will not be compressed too much. Okay, and then we can change the things inside. To change the thing inside here, I can zoom in a little bit, okay, and then I can add something. Maybe you say the name here. Alright, this is the name here. Name. After you type name here, right, that's within the page, right? You can get the data. The data is in catalog here, text view. And then you can say first name, space, and then last name. Okay. And you can also put them in the middle. Alright. Maybe I put the whole stuff at the middle as well. So it's demonstrating the name of the person at the bottom of the people. Now after working with the name of the person, I can go on with the detail of that person by going here, and maybe I can, okay, let me take a look at the field. I have employee ID, so I have employee ID, for example, and then I can include the field employee ID right here. You see, now the data is always like that with double apprentice. Parenthesis here. If this is sex, I'll put gender. Right. If that changed to Chinese typing input method, doesn't matter. Change it back to English. Alright, it's very easy. And then that will be sex, means gender. And then I have married, birthday, address, salary. Okay, married. Okay, that's marital status. And then I'll put married, and after that I have work address. Okay, I change it to Chinese, so I have to get it back to English. Address. Okay, now, sometimes the things change rather unexpectedly, but it's okay. It's just been turned to English. Chinese input method. So it's address that I want actually. The address is here, address 1, comma, address 2. Right. But before that, I also have date of birth, so let me put date of birth. And that should be here. as the birthday. So I have the birthday, alright, gender, date of birth, alright, things like that. And what else do I have? Salary. Okay, then I have the salary of the person put at the bottom here. Okay, now after having all the field, you see you now have all the field put there. You can zoom out a little bit, alright, and preview the documents and see whether that's gonna be okay before you really merge the document up and have a look. So I go here and preview, and then you see this is a preview version of the person. Okay, it looks, or you can go here, file, and print. Yeah, you can see the preview here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, in print preview you see it, or you just see the preview result. If you don't want to see the preview result, you can click here and then it go back to the merge catalog page. Now, if you're happy about the information arrangement here, we can go here to say merge to a new. So we're not going to merge it back here. Can we do it on here? Of course you can, but it's not a good idea. We normally treat this one as a mole or as a chop, alright, and then produce some of the similar things outside as an individual document. So it's a good idea that we merge rather than go to the add to existing. We merge. We can go to existing and then there will be a lot of document at the bottom, but instead better practice, I mean, that will be we merge as a new one. Once we merge this as a new one, alright, it will be a document with 4 pages, as you see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This actually is chopped out of this catalog page. So the catalog page is like a chop. Now it's chopped using the data as the source, and you chop you 4 documents, alright, 4. And each document will have their own detail, alright. If you close up and see, you can see the name, alright, you can see the gender, name of the person, or date of birth, address, things like that, alright. And they looked very professional to you. Okay, and then with this chop page, alright, come up here, we can go to the view and the master page here, and it all in one go. We go to design view here and give it a background, and then we can go use the Microsoft PowerPoint technique we learned earlier in background and give those this new document a suitable background. Maybe I give it a background of parchment, alright, parchment. Once I have the parchment applied to it, alright, and it gonna be looks pretty good. You see here with a parchment as a background, the document looks very good inside. When you go to the file and print here, you see this would look good, right, for all the pages. So this one can be saved as a separate document. Maybe I save it as on the desktop as my merge result. Okay, and then I close it. Now this one is your chop. Okay, I can say, okay, I can also save it down or on the desktop, and I call it the merge template. Okay, the merge template. So next time if I want to say change the template, it would be quite easy. I just turn off the result and then change the inside and merge again, and then I can have new merge result right away here. So I have merge result here and merge result here, sorry, and merge template. And a merge template can produce you the merge result in a quite easy manner. Okay, so this is about catalog working. It seems very complicated, and next time if you want to change anything, right here, if you want to change anything here in your merge result, we can change the database. With the database change information here by means of the template, you will have new merge result out. Okay, so you control it in a very systematic manner, and you have a central source of data for you to collect everything that you think is not right. Okay, so that's about merging. Basically, it's actually not that complicated as people may think of it to be. Okay, now how about the second thing that we have to learn today is printing. All right, let me close this one. Printing. Let me go back here for printing. Okay, for printing here, the things that we have to take a look is some concept of printing. The first concept we have to note about printing is we have actually at least 3 more printing in the commercial world. One is called spot color printing. Spot color printing means, okay, the print out would be in a single color or gray fill halftones. Right, halftones mean it's not a complete color. Okay, so the ink required printing it will be less, and spot color printing is a very good way for you to have some trial of your mass printing, because this would be quite economical to print, and you can take a look, see whether the effect is good before you do a full scale printing. So if your budget allows, right, it's very limited, people normally will do the spot color printing and see how the result goes. Okay, if you want to do some serious printing, we then can consider process color printing. Process color printing basically is to produce something with much colorful outcome, and the colors is basically mixed by yellow, cyan, magenta, and black. We call it CMYK. Okay, so the K actually is to make up of the CYM here and produce a richer black color. Now, process printing is good because it's much richer in color context. However, it's also more expensive, as you can expect it, because of more colors. So if your printing's gonna be with photo effect in your publication, people normally go for process printing. But if your printing is normally text oriented, people would go for spot color printing. How about this one here? We also have a very funny one here that you see later, right down here. It's called process color plus spot color printing. So it's a mixed. Now this process color plus spot color printing use the spot color, okay, on a separate plate, and other elements also here with the colors. So it's mixing the color with a spot color. Okay. Now this kind of printing is giving you a choice of producing very high quality professional publications. If you're going for that, you will then basically produce, alright, using process color plus spot color printing, because you want to try the best result out before you do the mass printing. Okay, and therefore if you go for the last type of printing that we see here, mixing them together, you will also have to select a spot color out, and normally people will select green, right, as a trial. Now in this chapter, apart from printing that you can select from, we also have to have some idea about vectors graphics, bitmap graphics, and line art. Now for vector is actually a very good picture that we use in graphic design. However, it's also very complicated because the whole vector thing is a mathematical equation. It allows you to have the picture to resize without distortion. Now this is vector graphics. However, if you go for bitmaps, it would be a different story. If you make it very, very big in such a way that you will see some of the jagged line inside, because all bitmap actually is made up of dots. right? So in order to have a smooth bit match, we always talk about resolution and bit depth, right? The more bit depth you have, the more color you have normally, and resolution is how many pixels you pack in a small area. The more pixels you pack there, the smaller the picture is, but it also smoother the picture is gonna be like, and that's the idea of bitmaps basically. Bitmap, if you take a look at bitmap and compare that into something called halftone, you're gonna find out halftone is actually to smooth out, alright, color and make it with a gradient feel, alright, and that's the idea of halftone. People pay particular attention to this because normally we have to map the screen frequency with the printer frequency in such a way that what you see in the screen can be printed as expected. Alright. As for line art, that's the final say about printing. Is basically about how to draw something out, right? And print the drawing out with good quality, right? That's what we call line art. And normally people would use one bit bitmap graphics to do it, right? And the line art basically is as you see, has a black and white graphics, okay, and just use pen to do it. So if you use bitmap for it, turning it into halftone and using it in a high resolution there, normally the things that you see in the line art will go smoother, and that's why, alright, sometimes when we are using line art, it's bitmap that we choose rather than vector. Now today working is very simple. Actually, for this part we basically concentrate on learning how to use design checker. This design checker is a very special function in Microsoft Publisher that helps you to check the document and see whether that document is up to the standard of printing in a mass scale level. If this is not, it will prompt you to correct them so that the ultimate printout result would be very much similar to what you see on the screen. And this is what we meant by design checker. And today we're going to make use of this document to see how this works out, right? And let me go to the desktop for this document. This is here. This is the document just downloaded, alright, for this exercise here. It has altogether 8 pages. If you go for print and have a look, you find it have one. Let me see. Yeah, you find it have 8 pages actually, I think. But just don't know why that it doesn't show a way for you to proceed, alright? Just like the other. Okay. It's only shown one here. Oh, here, yeah. It's a zoom here. Okay. But it should have one page because it's used a very special template, I think. If you go for page design here, let's see what template it's using. Now this one is using what? Oh, it's a self-made. It's not an internally. It's not a built-in template. So that's why when you go preview, you see only one page. All right. All right. Let's see if it is possible that I can go print and have all the pages view. Well, I'm afraid not. Sorry, I'm afraid not, because this is not a document. Because this is not the document that using a template produced by Microsoft Publisher. Anyway, today's focus is not about the documents printing. Yet we are going to do some pre-work of the printing. So to activate this design checker here, let's go to the file here and click info, and then you find it here. That's the design checker. In the design in info here, let's click run design checker, right? And right away you see design checker will run, and you can take, all right, say run the general design checks and run the final publishing checks. These tools are normally needed, all right, for good printing result in a massive manner. So let's see. It will point you with the problems on the right panel here. It's called item to fix. So let's take a look. The first thing you have to take a look is this one here called the text box is empty. Whenever anything in documents have a text box empty, it would point this out, and then you go there and fix it. So let's see. I have a document here. You have a empty. There goes with an empty text box. So I go to this item, and I'll see the text box here. Oh, I actually forgot to type the name of this picture. This is actually called Greek. Greek what? Oh, yeah. The word I forgot to type is actually even Great Wall. Okay, Great Wall. Alright, so I just type this Great Wall back. Upon typing this one there, I also reside the text box somewhere around here and put it in the middle. So this is the Great Wall. Once I have the Great Wall here done, you see I have two problems solved, because this text box is made at the bottom of page 5 and is also extended outside the margin of the print margin of the page. So by resizing it back and also put it in the middle under the picture, two problems basically solved. However, there's another problem of the picture here. It's called the size here is not proportional. So if this is the case, we can also tell the checker to do the optimal resize for it so that it would print the best. So we can say fix the resize picture, and in so doing, you see the picture would go to a best size, and then we can see the size of it shrink a little bit, but doesn't matter. We can move it to the center, so it would looks a little bit better in printing. So I'll put it in the center, and you can put a word you just type called Great Wall underneath, right? It looks pretty nicely down below. Okay, maybe I move it a little bit to the middle, right? And that would be great. Now the last thing is about resolution on page 7. So let's take a look. Go to this item is here. No. So normally we can choose to fix this, right? If this is the case, if there's a way to fix it, there will be, but if there's no way to fix it, it will keep running out. So you can see why that would be the case. You can say the explanation here is the bitmap has an elective is lower than 96 per dot. So when it's printed out here, it will have some jagged feeling. So that's not a good idea. To fix this particular problem here, you have to open this picture in a photo editor and then readjust the resolution before this problem can be solved. If this is a problem that you cannot solve and you don't want to see it, one option there, of course, is that you choose the never run this check again option, and then this problem will not be checked anymore because it's out of the scope right now for Publisher to work on it. You have to take it in a Photoshop or a PowerPoint, alright, to readjust, to remake this picture as a new one, so that it can meet the resolution standard in mass printing in order to have a good effect. Okay, so that basically all we have to know, alright, of these 3 exercises here. Very quick recap for you. How to stop it is you have to go to a file tag, go to the info and start it. Once you start it, you have to go for the check get designer here to check and fix the problem here. Some problem will be about the text here, it can be fixed easily. Another type of problem is about the size of the picture, then you can also make use of the checker to help you on that. However, if this is about the resolution, alright, resolution of the picture, more often than not, you would be needing a photo editor to do it, and that would be something outside the scope of Microsoft Publisher to fix. All right, And if you don't want that kind of things to pop up as an error for you anymore, as suggested by the exercise, you can choose never run this check again, and that would not be solved. Alright, up again. Alright. Okay, and that basically what we have to know from Microsoft Publisher in this semester. Thank you for your attention.